Welcome to your Daily 5 for Thursday, September 7th, 2023. You may remember that I did a 5 talking about how I never understood the appeal of the Clubhouse app that got popular for, 3 or 4 months during the pandemic? I mean, I guess it was a byproduct of people being largely stuck in their homes and that type of thing. But even then, I still really didn't get it. And for those who don't remember, or don't remember what Clubhouse used to only be, it was essentially a way for people to create audio-only rooms where, I don't know, let's say 2 people wanted to do their own TED Talk type of thing, and they could create this room, they'd be talking to each other, and then other people could join in I believe, a listen-only mode. I don't know. I think they could probably be invited up on stage. I never used the app, so I really don't know. I looked at it a couple of times on the web, and I just didn't understand what the appeal of it was. And it blew up because, people within the tech industry, and I'm sure some popular influencers jumped on it, probably because they were invited. It was an invite-only iOS thing for a while. And then it got popular for a little while, and then pretty expectedly just burned out after the pandemic started to become less of a emergency and people realized the app was kind of pointless. It just started on a decline, and it's been declining ever since, to the point where I don't think most people even really remember it. But apparently now, Clubhouse has decided that they have found a new way to make their barely relevant app slightly more relevant in a certain way. Honestly, I saw this, I think, over on Twitter, and because I still check Twitter for the show account, and I follow people who tend to be journalists, that type of thing, but I also follow The Onion and other comedy accounts. So I saw this story there, and I really thought it was a joke. I didn't actually think it was a serious story. And then I was scrolling back through it, and I looked and I saw the name, and it was somebody who basically reports news stories. And I went, oh, no, this isn't The Onion. This is not a joke story. This is real. And then I followed the link, which took me over to The Verge, and I'll link to that here so you don't have to jump through the 2 hoops I did. And I read it, and I honestly still really don't understand exactly what Clubhouse thinks this is going to be. This doesn't seem any more useful or functional than Clubhouse was before. And in fact, I can't imagine that the app is going to really work the way they think it is. So the idea of this is, and The Verge at one point calls it something along the lines of an audio voice chat collage. But if you think of the idea of a group chat, where you have a bunch of people that are texting in a group on your phone, very, very popular. Lots of people do it who are far younger than me, but I've been in a few myself. And this idea is, okay, let's do that, but we're going to add voice to it. So I guess I create the group, and I say, good morning, everybody. I just had Frosted Flakes, and they were great. And then somebody else replies, audio, and apparently it's being transcribed, so it's basically just enhanced text messaging, but that's besides the point, I think. Somebody else replies and says, oh, wow, that sounds great. Well, I had eggs for breakfast. And then a third person comes in and says, oh, wow, I never thought of combining Frosted Flakes and eggs into a breakfast burrito, but I'm going to do that right now. Whee! And then people just keep adding to it, and they're claiming there's some kind of social element. This seems so desperate for anything. I mean, obviously, Clubhouse believes in some kind of audio-only interaction space. And don't get me wrong, as somebody who does an audio-only podcast, I'm fine with audio, but this is not something that seems all that useful to me. I don't know why adding voice to group chats is somehow going to be better unless you're all people who just really hate typing. And I guess that's possible. Maybe those people do exist. Maybe there are people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really like texting because I'm terrible at typing on my phone, but I wouldn't start speaking to it. I would never be sending audio. That just seems, in a lot of different ways, privacy, having this thing out in public, it just seems like it's got a lot of problems. And inherently, the example that they showed, which was people singing happy birthday, that really relies on people doing things in a certain sequence. So I don't know. I don't think this is what's going to turn it around for Clubhouse. I think the problem with Clubhouse is it was barely an idea to begin with. It only really benefited from a short window of time where certain things lined up just right, and they're desperately trying to find something that seems related to that original weak idea and try to expand their relevancy through it. And I just don't think that's really going to work out. But click on the link and read about this. Maybe there's a use case I'm not thinking about. Maybe somebody listening to this thinks this is a good idea. If you do, please tell me, because I'm happy to hear other viewpoints. Maybe I'm wrong here, but just reading this, I don't get what this is going to accomplish for the company. If you can figure out what it is, let me know. Later.